Wally Glaze's MDT profile, which also reiterates his DNA marker and fingerprint marker, and then the results of the uh, passenger seat, which found the fingerprint of Wally Glaze in that back seat. And then G5.
No objection to that, Your Honor.
G5 torture room DNA blood results, a forensic sheet showing the blood that was in the room, and G6 DNA swab of the victim Wally Glaze and that result. So it was just the results of wasn't a DNA warrant, but just a consented DNA swab of the victim.
Okay, perfect. No objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Wonderful.
And that's all the questions from the state for this witness, Your
Honor. Cross-examine?
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask for 1 quick minute to go through my notes and write up questions, and then I'll be ready to proceed.
You have 58 seconds.
Okay.
I am not counting. There is a lot. I think I will probably do a deferred ruling because I need to read through all the affidavits. Maybe I should have read them before court. But I don't like to consider things before they are presented in court, if that makes sense. Because if they never present them, then I don't want to bias by being... I don't know if that makes sense. It is interesting. I like to hear about it this way. I summarized the indictment a long time ago. Back when I first get to this case, I don't remember it though. I always Duncan, I don't know. I guess.
And Your Honor, I'm ready to proceed.
You may be proceeding. I need to be more formal.
Hello.
It was Detective Zito, correct?
No.
Sergeant Zito.
Sergeant
the San Andreas
Zito,
State Police.
I faintly remember you being a detective back in the day. I apologize. Understood. So, just some clarifying questions from my side. You stated in direct questioning from the prosecution that you chased the passenger of the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
And you have identified them as my client, correct?
Yes.
So, my client was not operating the vehicle, correct?
Unsure if he was ever in operation of the vehicle.
But at the time of the crash and you pursuing him, he was not operating the vehicle.
Yes, at the time of the crash, when he exited the vehicle, he was not in the driver's seat.
The crack pipe he had on you was tested and had no residue on it, correct?
Yes.
And per the penal code, the possession of drug paraphernalia is not illegal, yes?
Yes.
Did you yourself look into the cooler and search it?
I looked into the cooler to document it, but I am not, I don't know how to identify cuts of meat. That's why every time I find something like that, I will ask a ranger. I did document the cooler found on the suspect, but I did not examine the contents of it closely.
All right. That's all my questions, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Redirection. Broke stabbed twice by the same guy. Yep. Early. Maybe first time, not premeditated. Second time, I will listen.
No further questions from the state, Your Honor.
Wonderful. Any plans for anybody to be recalling this witness?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Wonderful. Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Zito. You can be leaving or going, whatever is making you happy.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Oh shit, I thought he just poofed. I have not did this. I can't even type today. So many typos. Are you my present the next evidence or the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. We'll the state will call Detective Claire DePietro to stand.
Oh, she going to court a lot. Is Bennett coming to court? Yes.
Could you raise your right hand for me?
Bless her
Would
heart.
you like
She
an
was on the
oath or an
stand 3
affirmation?
hours the other day.
Yeah,
Let us
that's
hope this is not 3 hours on the
Do
stand.
you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
This is the problem
Your
with
Honor, the
using
witnesses
my
are sworn
recording
in.
for the
Okay. Can you please
I don't know what it's
what
called.
is your name, rank, and department for record?
Hello, my name is Claire DePietro. I'm a senior detective with the Major Crimes Division and the San Andreas State Police.
And how long have you been in law enforcement for the state?
7 months going on 8, I do believe.
Do you recall the events that transpired on January 16th that we were in court for today?
Yes, sir.
How were you alerted to the south side area where the events took place?
I did see the anonymous 911 calls, heard that there were already units attaching, later attached after requests for additionals for evidence collection was done.
Did you respond to those requests for additionals?
Yes, sir, I did.
And what was your
No.
role when you arrived on scene?
When I arrived on scene, the victim was being transported out and I was there for evidence collection.
What evidence did you collect?
I personally collected samples of the blood that was left inside the torture chamber, as well as bits of flesh that was also left present.
Who else helped you collect the evidence on scene in the torture room?
Deputy Jack Rivers, I do believe.
What was his role?
He was taking scene photos and general security.
Did you submit any evidence for forensic testing?
Yes, sir, I did.
What evidence did you submit for forensic testing?
The blood that I found on scene, as well as the flesh.
Ow, shit.
What was the results of that evidence?
The blood on scene came back to the victim, Willie Glaze, and the chunks of flesh, the DNA was not able to be matched to anything in our database.
Was the defendant interrogated?
Yes, sir, he was.
Did you find anything significant in interrogation?
Sadly, no, so there was nothing that I remember during that interrogation that was useful.
Did you speak with Mr. Glaze at the torture room scene?
I did not speak with him at the torture scene as he was being carted off as I arrived, but I did recognize him.
And do you recall encountering Mr. Glaze from a scene earlier that night?
Yes, sir, I do.
And what did you witness when you arrived at? Where did this scene take place?
The previous time that I had run into Mr. Willie Glaze was off of a local Cindy and Nicole that someone had been injured at the casino. On arrival, I found him lying there with a stab wound.
What did Mr. Glaze tell you happened?
Your Honor, that sounds to me like that is a hearsay question.
Your Honor, I'm asking for the statement that the detective took from a victim.
I mean, I don't think that it's hearsay for her to testify to a statement she took. One moment. Recent since impression. I don't know what that means. The court will overrule this objection. The Osafor can testify to the statement that she taking.
Understood, Your
Honor. Detective, you can. I'll repeat the question. What did Mr. Glaze tell you happened at the casino?
From what he had stated, he had described the individual that had attacked him in a very colorful manner, but the main things that he had stated was that it was a long-haired man that, this is his words, smelled terrible, that had attacked him and stabbed him at the prison.
Did Mr. Glaze receive medical treatment?
Yes, sir. I took him there myself.
Thank you very much. Based on his testimony, the state will enter into evidence Exhibit A4, Jack Rivers' affidavit.
No
in
objection
this
from the defense, Your Honor.
I am multitasking. Exhibit F4 submitted.
In this affidavit, Jack Rivers, he details arriving at that scene and how he
I have
and
my
how he
eyes
documented,
dilated. I can't
the
read
scene
this
with
right now.
Detective DePietro, and collected 3 samples of DNA.
Wonderful.
And we'll also enter into evidence Exhibit A5, Gabrielle Kennedy's affidavit, which basically just outlines that her and Duncan Murray were providing scene security and support.
No objections, Your Honor.
Wonderful. Exhibit 5A accepted.
And Exhibit C, the scene photos and forensics collected, which the detective here testified that she collected from the stab victim, and then blood as well, 1 through 4.
No objections from the defense. I was under the impression those were already submitted.
Wonderful. Exhibit C 1 through 4 admit.
And lastly, Exhibit H1, the Albert Donnelly interrogation.
I mean, it doesn't say anything.
Your Honor, I would object to that one being submitted on the basis of relevance. The detective has stated on the stand that there is nothing of relevance account on that interrogation, and it is a matter. I believe it is something along the lines of a 30-minute interrogation, and this would be unnecessary extra effort on the courts to also address an interrogation that basically has no relevance or information that is pertinent to this case.
Do you have the rebuttal?
The state's only wishing to submit it just as since it was mentioned and it was submitted as evidence on the docket. It is true there really isn't anything too important from it.
Wonderful. No need. Objection will be sustained for the clarity.
Okay. And that
I mean,
concludes this line of question with this witness, Your Honor. Thank you.
gonna include it. I don't care. I'm not going to listen to it. Cross-examine.
Again, we would ask for a short, a little bit of the time, Your Honor.
You have 57 seconds this time. I'm not counting.
Defense has no questions, Your Honor.
And they plans to be recalling this witness, either party.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Wonderful. Mr. Petrio, you can be leaving or staying, whatever is making you happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh my god, what happened to her arm? What is lady, whatever her name is, starts with the H, doing? Oh yes, you may be proceeding the next witness or evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Just waiting for your instructions is all. The state will call Jeff Stevens to the stand.
Perfect. I know he's going to see the network on experience.
You have to speak up.
Can I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay.
If you are the called witness.
Could you raise your right hand for me, sir?
Why the fuck else come mechanical?
Would you
They
like
call
an
him to be the
oath or
witness.
an
Where you think you're supposed to go?
Affirmation, please.
Do you solemnly affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Your Honor, the witness has been sworn in.
What the fuck did you bet if? I don't know.
Okay, what is your name, rank, and department for the record?
Hello, I am Jeff Stevens. I'm a sergeant in the Major Crimes Division.
How long have you been in law enforcement in the state?
2 years and about 8 months.
Do you recall the events that transpired on January 16th that we were in court for today?
I do.
And how were you alerted to the South Side area where the events took place?
We received 2 911 calls regarding a male that was stabbed in a basement on Dutch London Street. And then I began to respond to those calls with other LEO units.
And what was your role when you arrived on scene?
So upon arriving, the victim was in the process of being transported to Pillbox Medical for his injuries. There were sufficient units on the crime scene collecting evidence, so I was requested to go to Pillbox to retrieve a statement from the victim.
And what statement did you obtain from the victim?
May I reference my notes for that? It's a little lengthy, I believe.
Your Honor, do you mind if the detective references his notes for the statement that he took from the victim?
Yes, you can't do it that.
Okay.
Is it not?
So the victim's statement was that he was stabbed outside of the casino by a male with long gray hair and a Scottish accent who was wearing a Jimi Hendrix t-shirt and no mask. After he was stabbed, a detective that was later identified as Claire DePietro responded to the scene and took him to Pillbox Medical, where he was treated and released. The detective then took him to the Legion Bank to drop him off as a courtesy ride when he noticed a couple of people dressed up like cats and also witnessed people circling the area in a vehicle. He went over to talk to them, and that's when he was kidnapped and a bag was placed over his head. When the bag was removed, the same guy from earlier at the casino, wearing the same clothing and the same hairstyle and the same accent. The suspect then stated, quote, "Hey, remember me earlier at the casino?" and stabbed him before leaving.
So, referencing where the victim describes the suspect's physical appearance, did this description match the suspect who was taken into custody?
Yes, it matched him to a T.
And is that same long gray hair Jimi Hendrix shirt wearing male suspect in court with us today?
Yes, he is. However, he is dressed like a pirate today.
I see. Would you please point to this person?
Yes, it is an individual at the defendant's table.
Thank you very much. Did you collect any further evidence from this scene, or for the case as a whole?
Yes. I had returned to the original scene at the casino, where the victim was stabbed the first time. And then I also returned to Legion Bank, where he was kidnapped. I documented both of the locations and the CCTV cameras to have those processed at a later date.
Did you receive results for the CCTV footage?
Yes, I obtained a search warrant for the CCTV for both locations around the time of the stabbing and the kidnapping, and they were processed.
The state will enter in evidence exhibit G8, the MCD forensics for Albert Donnelly Diamond Casino CCTV footage report.
Defense has no objections, Your Honor.
Wonderful. So admit it. Exhibit G8.
And what was the results of your findings from the CCTV?
Is it okay if I reference the report?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I entered into evidence, so you're good.
Okay, perfect.
I
So
feel like that
around
is
the
my job,
CCTV
Mr.
camera
McKnight.
From the Diamond Casino between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. EST on the day of the incident. The CCTV showed that there were two men speaking at the driver's side of the vehicle. Once they checked the records, one male matches a description and pictures of Albert Donnelly. The other male matches descriptions of Wally Glaze. After exchanging words, Albert Donnelly moves to the back of the vehicle before returning with a weapon, which appeared to be a knife of some sorts. And then the male, who appears to be Albert Donnelly, then repeatedly strikes or impales the other male, which would be Wally Glaze, with the knife. The CCTV footage from the front-facing camera of the Legion Bank between 6 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. EST on the night of the incident shows Wally Glaze standing outside of the Fleeca Bank at Legion Square. A red SUV is seen driving past Wally Glaze, and then Wally Glaze is seen walking out of the shot towards the direction of the SUV.
Did the description of the vehicle at this casino and the vehicle in the bank footage match?
Unfortunately, the footage from the casino isn't very descriptive of the vehicle that was noticed. We're only able to make out a vehicle.
I see. Okay. All right, Detective. I appreciate your testimony. That is all from the state.
Cross-examination.
Yes, again, Your Honor. I would be happy with 56 seconds this time.
Oh my god, you are catching on to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, I do what I want in the court. There are so many things to be looking at right now. Oh my god.
And I'm ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Wonderful.
Hello, Detective.
Hello.
Did Mr. Glaze give an actual physical description of the person? Because I'm just going to keep it like that. Something like, how their face looks, any recognizable tattoos, anything like that.
Not past what is in the statement, in the incident.
So he only described clothing and accents and hairstyles. Correct?
Yes, that is correct.
If he's on the video,
That's all, Your Honor?
I don't know how to look at that video. Redirect.
No redirect from the state, Your Honor.
Wonderful. 80 plus to be recalling this witness.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. You are being free to stay or go, whatever is making you happy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. McNatt, more witness or evidence? Question mark.
Yes, Your Honor. The state will call their last witness. It's going to be it's going to be Gordon Bennett.
Could you raise your right hand for me, sir? Would you like an oath or an affirmation?
An oath is fine.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Your Honor, the witness has been sworn in.
Okay. What is your name, rank, and department for the record?
Yes, my name is Gordon Bennett. I am a Master Ranger with the San Andreas Parks Department.
And how long have you been in law enforcement in the state?
As of today, I have been in service for 10 months and 12 days.
Do you recall the events that transpired on January 16th that we are in court for today?
Yes, I do.
How were you made aware of the situation?
I was contacted by 907 Sergeant Dante Zito via phone call and was requested to come down to Vinewood PD to assist in an active investigation.
When you arrived at VPD, what were you asked to do?
I was asked to review a number of different meats and animal parts that were within a cooler provided by Sergeant Zito found on the suspect's person.
Exhibit G3 was accepted, correct, Your Honor?
Yes.
So, Master Ranger, what qualifies you in being so knowledgeable in the field of animal meats or pelts?
Well, given that I am a ranger within the San Andreas Parks Department, it is part of our basic training and a requirement of all rangers to be trained on basic animal care as well as basic animal first aid, which heavily involves that of mountain lions, as our job often involves mountain rescue. Along with this, I'm also the co-lead for the Pets and Wildlife Division, known as the PAW Division. And to even gain a base certification within that division, you must undertake further animal first aid, which includes domestic animals and the understanding of anatomy of both common animals within the state and protected animals within the state, which does include mountain lions or cougars, as these are defined as protected animals within the law.
What was your process for identifying the meats?
Well, I reviewed the cooler as a whole provided to me by Sergeant Zito on the day. I opened the cooler to find several different meats within the cooler. These were easily identifiably different, given both their size and shape, and the coloration of the meats as well. What initially caught my eye was the rat tail and the small dark meat cuts of the rats next to it, which I quickly moved to the side. I then observed the 4 larger cuts of deeper red meats that held a familiar marbling and density. Given my experience both on and off duty with large buck, I was able to quickly ascertain that these were deer meat. And given that both of the items I've now mentioned are not illegal within our state, I decided not to examine these any further. However, the final piece of meat that was within the cooler showed a coloration that is slightly more pinkish in nature. With my career working against poachers and people who have found cougar meats or been found in possession of cougar meat before, this piece of meat struck me as suspicious. At this point, I viewed the large tendon muscle along one side using gloves and a serrated blade that is part of our kit, and was able to observe and identify the tibialis cranialis, which is a tendon located along the front of the rear leg of a mountain lion, also known as a cougar. I then turned the meat over to review the lower part of the meat to find further evidence, or potentially find further evidence, that would lead me to believe that this was in fact a cougar. With this, I was able to identify the extensor digitorum longus off the top of my head. The tendon reaches from the rear part of the ankle towards the cougar's toes along the lower front and rear of the meat. These are often identified within the cougar's hind leg. With both of these tendons matching that of a typical adult cougar, I was able to confidently state with no concern that this was in fact a piece of lower hind leg of that of a cougar of an adult variety. And I quickly confirmed this with Sergeant Zito, that the one meat provided within the cooler was in fact illegal possession.
Thank you very much for all that. That was extremely detailed.
Holy shit.
So
I didn't
is
write
it
those big
illegal?
words.
Is it legal to be in possession of cougar meats?
No, it is not legal to be in possession of cougar meats or pelts within the state of San Andreas.
Thank you very much, Master Ranger. That is all that I have for you.
Cross-examine.
Yeah, defense ready to proceed.
No 55 seconds.
Hello, Ranger Bennett.
Hello, Mr. Schneider.
So, can you, how long roughly did this identification process take you?
On average, on the day, it took me roughly about 25 minutes or so to kind of go through this analysis. I had to, of course, unpack the kit that I brought with me, and then find an area that I could quickly sanitize, and do so in private.
And you were the only officer on scene that could identify these meats, correct?
I was the only officer available at the time, and I was the only officer on scene at Vinewood PD that identified these meats, correct?
And you have said previously that you have received extensive training to identify these meats, correct?
Correct.
So in your professional opinion as a ranger and savior of the cougars, you know, as the rangers would love to be called, would you say a lay person can identify a piece of cougar meat?
I believe that any ranger that holds a PAW certification within the state of San Andreas, or a parks employee within the state of San Andreas that holds a PAW certification, would be able to identify a piece of cougar meat.
So you would
given
say
the training
like,
that they're provided.
yes. Would you say an average Joe Schmo can identify a piece of cougar meat?
That would depend on their experiences.
Objection, Your Honor. This is calls for speculation. He's asking the ranger to try and speculate on what other people may know, but he can only testify to what he knows.
Well, you know, I specified that it is like the average normal person. I'm not asking for every single person in the state, and that would be overbearing for Ranger Bennett over here, even though he knows a lot of people in the state. I'm more asking in regards to the fact that he received extensive training to identify these meats, and if that same burden or that same, knowledge is placed on everyone, or if, people might have issues identifying this kind of meat.
Interesting. The court will sustain this objection. Maybe try your question different way. There's a better way to ask this question. I know what he is doing. Ask it better. Ask it better.
One moment, Your Honor.
Yes, 55 seconds. Ask it better. I know what you are trying to say, but at the same time, I don't know that ignorance is not excuse. I know what he is trying to get at.
Did any of the officers that were on scene struggle to identify the meat that's in the cooler?
No officers that were involved in the scene identified to me at all what any of their speculations regarding these meats, and only asked me to identify what was within them. Sorry to rephrase. They only asked me to identify what was within the cooler.
You were specifically called to identify the contents of the cooler, correct?
Correct. There were no speculations made by any officers prior to that point.
In your professional experience as a ranger, do the people of San Andreas receive any training on how to identify meats when they go hunting, for example?
That's
Sorry,
better.
repeat that question for me once more.
So when someone receives their hunting license from you, the rangers, do they get any sort of training to identify the different types of meats?
We would expect the hunters to understand what animals they are hunting, and as a result be able to identify the meat that they are harvesting with their hands from that corpse.
So for my question, that is a no?
Correct.
As a ranger, and something that might be inside your scope of interest, are you aware of any other training programs that teaches the people of San Andreas how to identify different cuts of meat or different types of meat?
I'm not aware of any other. I'm not aware of any others. No.
Understood. No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Redirection.
One moment. Master Ranger, are hunters given instructions not to hunt cougars?
Yes, they are given full instruction that under no circumstances they are allowed to hunt cougars within the state of San Andreas, as they are a protected species.
Are you aware if the defendant has a hunting license?
I have not checked this myself. However, if I'd be allowed to check the MDT, Your Honor, I'd be able to provide that information for you.
Your Honor, we would object on the basis that this has not been entered into discovery. If the state wanted to establish that these matters were obtained through hunting and he therefore should have been aware of hunting rules, they should have done so during discovery.
The court is inclined and will be sustained this objection. No, you may not look at the MDT.
No problems, Your Honor. Thank you.
Master Ranger, if somebody is found in possession of cougar meats, whether they know it or not, is it still illegal?
Yes, it is still illegal to be in possession of them. However, we cannot charge them with a charge such as poaching, as that would be obviously having to witness them harvesting the animal.
So this would be similar to if somebody was in possession of drugs, they just didn't know it was drugs, correct?
Rephrase that question for me, sorry, once more.
So it would be similar to if somebody was in possession of drugs, but they didn't know it was drugs, they would still be charged with a drug crime, correct?
Yes, correct.
Thank you, Master Ranger. No further questions.
Are we crossing?
One moment, Your Honor.
54 seconds. Let me build that so I know.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any plans for anybody to be recalling this witness?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Wonderful, thank you, Mr. Bennett. You are free to be leaving or staying, whatever is making you happy.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any further evidence or witness?
No further evidence or witness, Your Honor. The state will be resting his case.
Wonderful. Defense, present the case. Question?
Yes, Your Honor. We have no witnesses or evidence to call.
Oh, that was fast. Are we prepared for closing?
The defense would request 15 minutes to write their closing, Your Honor.
15?
Yes, Your Honor.
15.
1-5.
Yeah, that's fine, Your Honor.
Perfect. Recess 15 minutes. We'll be back just before 9:30. Oh my god. I need to change. I need to look at the evidence. What? Oh, let's see what the color pants. Look at those pink ones. We got to wear this one. Oh, I like the red. Oh, pink is cute. I don't know if this matching though. Oh, look at that. It's the wrong pink. Oh, that is fun. Oh my gosh. I really liked those pants, but I don't know if I can find the jacket. Oh, red is nice. Can wear the brown. Oh, turquoise. Oh, let us wear this one and the green pants. This is very important. Shit, that's the wrong one. Shit, it is going to have to be white. Shit, I can't wear those shoes. Perfect. I need to look at this evidence while I am here. Let me see. Oh, why is he so... I can't read. Mm. Let's see, I got some time. Oh shit. Oh no. Shit. I have so many things here. Write it down. Where is this that I am looking for? Where is it at? much time do I have? I have like 2 more minutes. Mm. Where's that? Mhm.
I'm gonna go make sure see if both sides are ready to proceed. We got 2 minutes left.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Both sides are ready to proceed whenever you are.
Give me 2 seconds. Wonderful. Let's go.
All right.
Oh.
All rise. Court's back in session.
Oh my gosh, wonderful. Let me see. We're prepared with the closings.
Yes, Your Honor.
The state is your honor.
Wonderful state, the floor is being yours.
Thank you, Your Honor. And all those in attendance today, we once again thank everyone for being here and having a similar passion for justice as we do. Today, we heard from Sergeant Dante Zito, Detective
Oh my God, thank you.
Petro, Detective Jeff Stevens, Master Ranger Gordon Bennett, and many others from affidavits. Fortunately,
My
the
heart is
victim,
happy.
Wally Glaze, refused all hails for communication and was not here today. Regardless if the victim was here or not, law enforcement did an excellent job with evidence collection, processing, gathering Glaze's statements on scene. Not only do we have the defendant's DNA at the scene of the crime, but we also have CCTV footage of the initial encounter at the casino. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in my career, we actually have the defendant caught on camera, literally red-handed. This footage is undisputed. The defense has made no argument that this was self-defense or a crime of passion because it simply isn't any of those things. For the first attempted first-degree murder, which took place at the casino, CCTV footage captured Mr. Glaze and Mr. Donnelly talking at the defendant's stolen SUV. Donnelly then walks to the back of this vehicle, opens the trunk, retrieves a knife, walks back to Mr. Glaze, and stabs him. Not once, but repeatedly. When talking about attempted or full-blown first-degree murder, there are a few key factors that must be present. There must be premeditation that can be proved that the actions were deliberate, planned, and targeted. The first one is easy. You cannot deliberately stab somebody repeatedly. It's not like he tripped and fell and accidentally stabbed Mr. Glaze multiple times. Targeted is also easy. Glaze was the only other person present. He was the clear target of this attack. Further proven by the defendant being seen stabbing Glaze multiple times. Planned. This one is often misconstrued and mythical. Premeditation is most commonly defined in the legal world as when an individual contemplates, for any length of time, undertaking an activity and then subsequently takes action. You do not need a note or a diary that says, tomorrow I'm going to find Wally Glaze and stab him with my knife until my heart's content.
Oh my god.
Total inaccuracy.
Bart, calm
A
down.
plan can be made in a moment. You might not even know it's a plan per se. The premeditation to this, or to the planning part to this, is Donnelly walking to the rear of his car, opening the trunk, grabbing a knife, walking back up to Glaze, and stabbing him over and over again. Remember, this is an SUV, so he likely had to walk a good 6 to 10 feet to the rear of the vehicle, then back as he walked up to Glaze. All that time, he had the chance to think about his next actions. He also had to think to himself, where's my knife at again? Oh yeah, it's in the trunk of the car. Better go get that. This shows clear premeditation, clear planning, and the first altercation with Mr. Glaze is absolutely of the first degree. Also on CCTV cameras, a similar vehicle matching the description of the one in Donnelly's possession at the casino as seen in the area and driving where Glaze was kidnapped. Glaze is then taken to the South Side torture room where he is stabbed again and left for dead. As he fled, officers were already in the area and spotted the same SUV that was described by CCTV footage. This vehicle contained Albert Donnelly and another suspect who was processed later and found that he could not be connected to the scene, could not be connected to the same charges as Donnelly. As we heard from Sergeant Zito, Donnelly fled on foot, ignoring lawful commands. He tried to stab Zito as well with a knife, but he missed. When he was arrested, he was found to be in possession of a knife, flex cuffs, burlap sack, a set of spike strips, IFAKs, and a cooler full of meats. As we learned today, spike strips and IFAKs are property of government first responders. The cuffs and burlap sack match which Glaze's story that he was kidnapped with a bag put over his head. Master Ranger Gordon also gave us a great lesson about the anatomy and illicitness of cougar meats in the defendant's possession. When officers processed the torture room scene, forensic evidence found Glaze's blood on scene, on a knife. Donnelly's fingerprints also on that knife. Donnelly's fingerprints are also on the burlap sack. There was another set of fingerprints on the knife. However, those did not return to the suspect, did not even return to this other suspect, Ty Jones. There were also chunks of flesh on the scene that did not return to anybody known to law enforcement. There's nothing to indicate this evidence is from this scene, as it is locally known as a torture room. Speaking of, why do we have a known and accepted torture room on the South Side? Maybe we need to talk to Public Works or something about that. That seems a little unsafe to me. Anyways,
Object.
Donnelly was seen leaving the scene of this crime. He has a history with the victim that he had just attempted to kill earlier that night. The victim's own statement states that the defendant, that it was the defendant once again. The possession of the knife and burlap sack also connects him to these crimes. When the vehicle the defendant was driving was processed, the defendant and victim's fingerprints were found in the vehicle. The defendant in the driver's seat, or in the passenger seat, and Glazes in the right rear passenger seat. This is not circumstantial evidence. This is a series of evidence against Donnelly and a lack of evidence pointing to anybody else who could have done this, even remotely. Even during interrogation, Donnelly offered no alibi or reason for why he was leaving the scene. I know it was me or any other reasonable person. If I left that scene and had nothing to do with anything, I might have explained I was running from some madman who's stabbing people in the torture room. Instead, nothing.
Oh my god.
Let's apply the variables to first degree one at a time. Kidnapped, or targeted. He kidnapped Wally Glaze and stabbed only him. Glaze was clearly targeted. Deliberate, once again. You can't accidentally take someone to a torture room and stab them. Planned. Donnelly prepared for these crimes by obtaining a burlap sack. He also had cuffs on him, likely in case he needed to restrain his victim. Then he had premeditated determination in mind to carry out another attempt on Glaze's life. Again, a literal torture room. He wasn't taking the defendant to Chuck E. Cheese to throw him in the ball pit. The state believes that beyond a reasonable doubt, Mr. Donnelly is guilty of all charges against him, and he must be found guilty. Thank you.
That was very colorful. Defense closing.
Yes, Your Honor.
That was very colorful. I don't even know.
Your Honor,
I
learned
would
friends
agree.
from the prosecution, people of the gallery. The state, once again, is pulling a great matter of theatrics here, but have once again shot for the moon and failed along the way. The state has not proven the burden for first-degree murder. Wally Glaze is not here to actually confirm his statements, and even though the objection was denied earlier, this is a clear sign of hearsay. Anything that he stated in his statements cannot be confirmed to the courts. There's no sworn affidavits of these things actually happening this way. He's not here on the witness stand today. As such, all his statements that were taken by PD should not be taken at hearsay, and therefore should not be usable to prove anything. He further did not give any good description of the defendant. He claimed clothing and hairstyle and accent. We've already agreed, and we are all in agreement, that the simple voice of someone is not sufficient to identify them, and both hairstyle and clothing in this state are able to be changed at the drop of a dime. The CCTV footage shows my client for the casino incident. The defense is asserting, even though it wasn't done in the opening, and the state apparently speaks for us now, that it is in fact an act of passion and does not meet the matter of first degree, as there is no planning, no premeditation that took place here. If the state is to be believed, simply pulling a knife is sufficient for first degree murder. That would mean that someone pulling a knife and then stabbing someone is sufficient ground for premeditation. Might as well just charge everyone that we see, and their mother included, with first degree murder. May as well reach out to the CRC and have second degree murder removed from the criminal record.
That is not what the CRC does.
Anymore. It's all first degree murder now, according to the state. The incident in the torture room has no sign that my client was present outside of him being in the vehicle, fleeing from the scene, and the statement from Wally Glaze that, as stated earlier, should be treated as hearsay. Neither of these things prove beyond a reasonable doubt that my client committed these acts, let alone, again, first degree murder. The cuffs had no fingerprints on it, and a burlap sack is an everyday item for transporting items. These things alone that apparently the state has concluded into is a sufficient for first degree murder is not sufficient proof for anything. And the CCTV footage further shows that Wally Glaze willingly approached the car, and who says that, he didn't go into the car willingly as well. Therefore, he wasn't kidnapped. He's not, my client isn't even charged with kidnapping. So why are we bringing this up? It's clear that, again, the state has not shown any actual evidence that these crimes were committed in this way, that first degree murder is the correct charge for this, and they furthermore have alluded to the state of mind of the defendant, which again, no evidence is present for that. He was not in possession of contraband, as we've heard today on testimony. Therefore, we would assert that, maybe the state wanted to let this slip through, but they're definitely not guilty of all charges.
I
we've
know that
already
he is
heard
not
that
guilty of
a
that one.
crack pipe alone is not illegal to possess, and there was no drug residue found on it. He should also not be found guilty for the possession of protected pelt and meats, as we have heard in testimony that extensive training and time is required to identify these meats. And as the state did not establish where my client got these meats from, we can assert that the cooler may possibly have been handed to him without knowing their contents. And without extensive training, something we have also not established that my client possesses, how would he have known what kind of meat was inside the cooler? He may even have willingly surrendered the cooler and its possession to law enforcement had he been apprised of its content. He was not the driver of the car, as also stated in the closing of the state, but for some reason they still wanted him guilty for joyriding. And we cannot base things off assumptions and, matters of potentials and what ifs. At the time of the crash, the time when they were clearly able to identify the suspects, he was in the passenger seat and therefore not joyriding. This should have been a short and sweet matter, but for some reason the officers involved saw it fit to hit my client with any and all charges that may potentially stick, maybe even expecting that he just pleads guilty and no one would have ever known that they threw the book at him without any reason. As such, we assert today that my client should be found not guilty on the charges of possession of contraband, joyriding, possession of protected meats and pelts, and the 2 counts of aggravated first-degree murder. Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh my gosh, thank you. They're both talking too much. Wonderful. I will be deliberating. I will be back eventually. Don't go anywhere, or do. I'll be back soon. I need like 15-20. Oh my god. Alright, let me work. Okay. Let me work.
I've also noticed we can't see people in our cameras if we're into them. We can see the cameras, we just can't see people in them. They just like faded them out. Yeah, I didn't until just now. I didn't realize. Because you can't even see the local guards. But she's gone to sleep now.
Are you talking to me? I got
You're doing great, Sunny.
Thanks. Stop talking around me, fucking bitch. I'm trying to be fast. Is the I want this to move. I would argue that this would be a attempted murder, but maybe he was just playing tag. Hmm. Mm. Where is it at? Where's my evidence? Where's my evidence? Not that one, not that one. Model. Glove box. Mm, this one is harder. Mm, let me see. Oh, this is hurting my brain. Mm. Mm. What did he say? Where is it at? Mm. Electric chair. No, I already did that once today. Mm. Shit, what else was on him? Shit, how long have I been here? I don't remember. I'm trying to hurry. Mm. Zipper ties. What else did he have? Um. I don't know that I can find him guilty of the second one, to be fair. What he should have argued, here is the thing. He got away from the scene where he initially stabbing. Does he say if this DNA is fresh or not? Let me look. I am trying to think, is that sufficient? There's dried blood on the knife. It does not say what times the... Let me look here. $7:30. It doesn't say. I don't know. Damn it! Why? Those ones are easy. I don't know. I am going to go with my gut. We didn't. Let me write this. Mm. I don't know how to say this. All right, let me see. I just need to rewrite this. Hold on. Let me mute this so I can talk this out in my head.
All right. It's all good. It is your deliberation. All rise. Court's back in session.
Yes, Your Honor. One moment here. He has not been on bail, or he has been out on bail, correct? Oh, yes. It was from the prior hearing date, like the 15th or something, maybe, or
Yeah, when we did the yeah.
okay. The state will recommend a fine of $17,770, which is the maximum fine for all guilty charges. And then for time, we would request time served. $17,770. If my math is correct, which I believe it is.
Yes, Your Honor. We would also concur with the time served, as our client was released on his own reconnaissance on the previous hearing. As he is currently already in debt, we would ask that the fine be reduced to a clear $10,000, as he's currently roughly $7,000 in debt.
Shit! Oh my god! Oopsie! Oopsie! Damn it! Shit! Fuck! Let me think on this. Fucking shit. Why is my phone not charged? Oh no. I do not think that is sufficient. $10,000 is... Oh my god, I am so upset. How did I not unmute? Oh, it will not be in the ruling. The ruling will be on the docket. Shit. Fuck me. I might get yelled at for doing this. Let me see. Thinking on this. The court will be agreeing with the time served. The defendant will be incarcerated for the considerable amount of time. Wait, hold on. He not incarcerated. He was on the bail. Oh, that's crazy. I guess you both want the time served perfect. The court will find out that $10,000 is insufficient for the multiple counts of aggravated attempted murder first degree. The court is considerate of the debt of the defendant and will be ordering the $15,000 fine. That is all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Somebody make him pay. I don't know if that was good or not. That was very bad. I didn't read my ruling to the court for the stream. Listen, he guilty on everything except for joyriding and the contraband. But if you proceed the fine,
Now, what do you say, Your Honor?
I am making sure you proceed the fine.
Yes, we're processing it now, Your Honor.
For Victor Q.
No worries, Your Honor.
Oh my god. I can't believe I did that. I just have to write it in the docket. Why everybody here